If you're the type of person where no one ever gets upset with you, there's no one who dislikes you, chances are that you're a bit of a people pleaser. You probably are putting the needs of others ahead of your own at the expense of your own happiness. Always putting other people's needs ahead of your own, I see it as a way of disrespecting yourself, not having that self respect, because your needs are important too. A great example of someone who has a lot of self respect is Donald Trump. What do you know about Donald Trump? Well, there's a lot of people who love Donald Trump, and there's a lot of people who hate him. And that's actually the fact that there's people who dislike him, that's a great sign that he has a lot of self respect because he's being very authentic. He's not trying to please everybody. And because of that, some people are going to be upset with him. And that's okay. You don't need to win everybody over. As a matter of fact, trying to win everybody over, you're going to be miserable because you're trying to do the impossible. And you're not going to be respecting yourself in the process of trying to do so. I'll use myself as an example. Especially when I was brand new to dating, I would be a bit of a people pleaser. I put on a character that I thought would better resonate with the other person. So I'd be more positive, more outgoing, like more silly, trying to make them laugh. But in the process, I kind of lost being more authentic to myself. I didn't respect myself on the dates I was going on. I was more concerned about what the other person thought of me than what I actually thought about myself. I was trying to get my date to really like me, and trying to make someone like you is a recipe for them not liking you because you're trying too hard. You're not being authentic. You're not respecting yourself in the process. It comes from an insecurity that you're looking for validation from other people as opposed to being able to get it from yourself. If you aren't able to respect yourself, how do you expect others to respect you? I personally think that a big reason why people aren't as successful as they'd like to be is because they have a lack of self-respect. I promise you, a common trait with unsuccessful people is they don't respect themselves. And the thing about self-respect is it has to be earned. If you're a person where you tell yourself that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, I'm going to read 10 pages of a book, I'm going to plan my week ahead, and then you wake up the next day and you do none of those things, that's you disrespecting yourself. You're giving yourself evidence that you're not worth respecting your own self. Let's say, for example, that you have a friend who's, a bit overweight, and they've been thinking about, or they've been talking about going to the gym for weeks and weeks on end. And then they finally say, hey, I'm gonna sign up to the gym. Let's go together tomorrow because I know you go to the gym often. But then it comes to the next day and they don't show up. They don't show up for the gym and they tell you, hey, I got a little bit busy today. I had some things happen. Let's do it next week. Next week comes and they also still don't show up. They come up with a new excuse. What's gonna happen is you're gonna lose respect for that person in being able to make that decision. You don't respect them, or you don't expect them to be able to make the decision to actually show up in the gym and do what they say that they're gonna do. And as a result of that, you lose a little bit of respect for that person. It's the same thing with yourself. A lot of things that apply to other people also applies to yourself when it comes to how you view yourself, not just how others view you. Like, for example, have you ever caught yourself waking up in the morning wondering why you aren't able to achieve the things that you want to? The reason why, it's not necessarily just a lack of motivation. A reason why is that you don't respect yourself enough to actually do those things. That can be the underlying cause of why you're not accomplishing these things that you're setting out for yourself to do. Having self-respect is a key recipe for successful people. Disrespecting yourself on a daily basis is a downward spiral, again and again, that you want to avoid. So I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, can you please get to the point? How do I actually go about earning self-respect? Well, here's how. I would say earning respect for yourself is all about the small things that you tell yourself. Think about it this way. The things that you tell yourself that you're gonna do, take them seriously. Like, your word is your contract. If you do everything you tell yourself that you're going to do, guess what? You're gonna start to trust yourself. You're gonna have a lot more respect for yourself just by doing the things that you've told yourself that you're going to do and actually doing those things. You're gonna build up evidence that you actually are a person worth respecting. And when I'm talking about the little things, again, I mentioned a few examples earlier, but it's things like not skipping the gym, making sure you eat healthy, you don't just put junk in your body, you don't stay up late when you know you shouldn't. It's the same way, again, like you would also view other people. Do other people do what they say that they're gonna do? If they do, you're gonna have a lot more respect for them than if they don't. Even just having small interactions where someone says something disrespectful to you and you just kind of laugh it off and ignore it because you're afraid that if you say something back, it might come across as mean, that's another form of disrespecting yourself. So constantly, every single day, there's opportunities happening where you decide to ignore it and let yourself be disrespected, or address it, hold the other people accountable, and show yourself that you actually have respect for your own being. It's the little things that count and that build up that muscle of respecting yourself. And again, like the example I mentioned in the beginning with Donald Trump, if you have some people who dislike you and do get upset with you, it's a good sign that you are respecting yourself, that you've earned that self-respect. You're not going to be able to please everybody. Not everyone is going to like you. We don't need to have everyone on our side. Having some people who don't like you is better than everyone liking you, but you don't like yourself. And the idea of everybody liking you doesn't exist anyway. If you're always putting other people's needs ahead of your own, you're going to be disrespecting yourself so much that you also stop loving yourself. You don't have any respect for yourself, and it's just a downward spiral from there. And that's a big cause that leads to you not going for the things that you actually want for yourself, because you're constantly putting other people's needs ahead of your own. Having self-respect is one of the key elements to success. Let's get started on this journey of respecting ourselves as much as we possibly can on a day-to-day basis, showing yourself evidence why you should respect yourself.